Imperfections in solids. See, whenever we think of crystalline solids, we always assume that the particles, the constituting particles they are having, are always present in a regular pattern, in a regular predetermined places, and they have a very periodic arrangement of the constituting particles. But practically, it's not possible. Due to the high entropy even at room temperature, what we find is, even in these crystalline solids, the particles usually are missing from their usual places. So whenever we find that the particles, constituting particles of a crystalline solid are missing or are actually displaced or are at some other place from their usual position, the crystal is said to have defect or imperfection. Defect or imperfection. Now, one has to understand, as the temperature is increased, definitely the entropy increases and the constituting particle gets displaced from one place to the other. So whenever in a crystalline solid the particles are not present at their regular usual position, the crystal is said to have defect or imperfection. Now these defects or imperfections mainly are of two types. First category is called point defects. Point defects are those defects, or it's the kind of defects in which the particles, usually particles, are missing from their particular points. And the second type of defect is called line defect. In this, in the crystalline solid, the whole of the particles lying along one line are missing from the or are getting displaced from the usual position. So defects can be point defects when some particles at particular points are missing or are not present at the usual place, and when whole of the particles along one line are not present at their usual position, we call it line defect. In our syllabus we have point defects and not the line defects in detail. So let us discuss the types of point defects.